This is The Gist, the essential podcast for the discerning listener.
Welcome to The Gist. I'm John.
And I'm Mary. It's Friday, August 21st, 2026. We are your smart friends on the go.
We read the news so you don't have to. Every episode we break down who holds the power and where the money flows.
Let's start with the gist view and a classic pre-election power play. Donald Trump is floating a plan to slash United States beef import tariffs. He wants a temporary 25% discount from foreign suppliers for 3 months.
The goal is obvious. He wants to push down grocery prices right before the November midterms. But here is the catch. By waving a magic wand to pause these tariffs, he accidentally admits a basic economic truth. Protectionism acts like a punishing tax on domestic consumers.
Exactly. So who benefits here? In the short term, politicians get a quick bump in voter approval. Consumers get slightly cheaper burgers. But the people footing the bill are the United States ranchers.
Right, the United States cattle herd is actually at its smallest size since 1951. Because of that tight supply, beef prices jumped over 25% in the past year. When this tariff cut was announced, live cattle futures fell sharply. Live cattle futures are basically financial bets on the future price of beef.
You are swapping market pricing for executive whims. A temporary pause gives consumers quick relief. At the same time, it keeps the long-term trade wars that protect United States farming intact.
But as CBS News points out, using executive decrees to manage inflation turns trade policy into a political campaign tool. It injects massive volatility into the market. American agriculture will feel that sting long after the discount expires.
Moving to the global overview. Wall Street private equity firms, the companies that buy up other businesses to restructure them, are going all in on artificial intelligence.
The Wall Street Journal reports these firms are hiring armies of artificial intelligence specialists. They are embedding them directly into the companies they own.
The goal is to automate services at a massive scale. The incentive is clear. Automation cuts costs and boosts profits. But to make artificial intelligence work, you have to feed it huge amounts of data. You are taking scattered information and piling it all into one giant digital vault.
And that concentrates risk. When you pool that much data, you create a massive target for hackers.
We just saw this play out. Apollo Global Management is a massive alternative asset manager. Last month, they suffered a severe cyber attack. According to the Financial Times, hackers stole personal data, including names and social security numbers.
It highlights the core trade-off. Investors get the efficiency of artificial intelligence, but the race to hoard data leaves everyday consumers and workers exposed to systemic security breaches.
Let's cross over to Europe. We have a major standoff between Beijing and Brussels over corporate data.
Back in May, the European Commission opened an investigation into JD.com, a massive Chinese e-commerce company. JD's trying to buy the German retail group Ceconomy for €2.5 billion.
The European Union is using a relatively new tool called the Foreign Subsidies Regulation, or FSR. Think of it as a financial shield. It is designed to stop foreign state-backed companies from using unfair government money to warp the European market.
But China's Ministry of Justice stepped in. They legally barred JD.com from handing over the requested data. They called the European Union probe unlawful. According to Politico, this mirrors a similar move Beijing made earlier this year.
So who wins? Beijing is essentially weaponizing its domestic laws. They want to force the European Union to either drop the probe or kill the deal entirely. It shows that Chinese corporate expansion is deeply tied to state power.
But look at the European Union's demands too. Caixin Global notes the FSR requires incredibly broad data. We are talking about pulling unrelated domestic banking records. This effectively forces Chinese firms to break their own country's privacy laws just to compete in Europe. It is a massive regulatory clash.
Sticking with European security, German authorities just found a hidden firearms cache near Berlin. They suspect Russian intelligence is involved. Reuters reports a suspect was recently detained in Romania.
This follows a recent drone breach at the Leipzig airport. It points to a growing trend. We are seeing a coordinated, escalating campaign of hybrid sabotage. That means a mix of physical and cyber disruptions aimed squarely at European infrastructure.
Finally, a huge penalty in the gig economy. The Dutch Data Protection Authority just hit Uber with an €825 million fine.
The charge? Violating the GDPR. That is Europe's strict privacy law governing data use and algorithmic decisions.
According to Il Sole 24 Ore, between 2020 and 2022, Uber permanently fired drivers by deactivating their accounts. They used completely automated systems with zero real human oversight.
The power dynamic here is stark. A corporation uses an algorithm to cut costs and manage a sprawling workforce. But the GDPR acts as a check on that power. It ensures workers aren't fired by a black box.
That is the temperature for today. We are seeing power centralise everywhere. It is happening through artificial intelligence data vaults on Wall Street, algorithmic bosses in the gig economy, and executive decrees manipulating the meat aisle.
Meanwhile, global trade is getting caught in the crossfire of competing national laws, and physical security in Europe remains on high alert.
If you found today's breakdown useful, we'd love for you to join us on the written side.
You can subscribe to The Gist's daily newsletter for free. Just tap the link right there in your show notes. Catch you next time.
The Gist, News Digest, and podcast are entirely written and produced by artificial intelligence. The Gist is out 3 times a day, every day, providing you with a liberal perspective on what to expect next. For more information and donations, visit thegist.online. Thank you for listening.